Welcome to Moon Phase 15. Guess what? Tonight is a new moon. Tonight is a time of darkness. But you know what? This time of darkness is now in the new spring. This is a new beginning. This is the dark before the dawn. This is the time that you prepare backstage before the show starts, before the show goes on. This is the moment behind the scenes. This is the moment where we prepare, where we get everything ready. In the darkness, behind the scenes where nobody can see, no one knows what we're doing, but we're preparing, we're moving, we're making moves in the dark to showcase in the light someday soon. This is finally spring energy. This is finally new beginning energy 2026, the year of one, the springtime of new beginnings, and here's the new moon. Finally, the new moon. The darkness behind the scenes is just in preparation for something great and grand in your future. Your projects, your destiny is coming to fulfillment, to existence. Your project will thrive, but now is the time. You do the final touches, right on the verge of showtime. Right on the verge, right behind the scenes. So there's the drama, potentially, if you have people in your life. I don't. But sometimes there's saboteurs, which is the demonic things that I get. Saboteurs, the evil gods, will try to sabotage you. Especially at this time, right before your big break, right before your big beginning. Something will try to interfere. Every new beginning, there is a phenomenon. When you try to start something new, you get a bunch of interference. And so be prepared for that. Behind the scenes, in the shadows, this is when they send their assassins. This is when they backstab. This is when friends betray each other. However, it aligns you on your path. You know your true friends now. You know your true alliances. And you, in 2026 energy, you are aligned to you. You gotta be true to you. That's all you know, and that's all you have is you. And so, while it's nice to have a friend or two, you can't count on anyone. You need to do this in the shadows alone, because no one's going to interfere with your new beginning. You got this. You've been waiting so long. You've got this. And so, I have a tarot reading for you tonight to celebrate the energy of the new, to finally bring in this new beginning. Behind the scenes, in the shadows, what you're working through, what you're preparing for, in the event of your destiny. Right now, tonight, in full moon energy, the time of darkness. Okay, welcome one and all to your moon phase reading. This is moon phase number 15. That is right, this is a new moon, 2026, April 17th, new moon energy. So we got the Fae Tarot here, and I'm treating as an oracle deck, and we got the Gilded Tarot Royale, I'm treating as a tarot deck, and I got my own Psychic Test card deck to represent the energies of tonight's reading right here. And if you're interested in this deck, you can purchase it yourself, and it helps me thrive and live for another day to make more content for you. And so, you can find this on my website, jEsTeRJaMiSeN.inc, and there's a link to my card shop with MakePlayingCards.com, and in the future, I will be making my own oracle cards and tarot cards, but right now, I got these. And so I'm going to use these tonight to represent tonight's energies. So, moon phase number 15 is a new moon. We got 2026, the year of one, the year of individuality, of new beginnings. For this reading, it is currently April. This is 4/17, April 17th. And so new moon energy is represented by fire. This is the time of bleeding, the time of darkness, the time of behind the scenes, new moon energy. And in April 17th, we are in Aries energy. This is Aries. Aries represents the new beginnings as well. This is also the card of fire, so we got extra fire. We got the dark fire of the moon and the fire of the Aries. And so we're now in the era of time, the season of spring, of new beginnings. And so that represents Earth. We got Earth on the table. And so we got the new moon of new beginnings, represented by fire. We got the new zodiac of Aries, the first of the zodiacs, of new beginnings, of individuality, of leadership, of entrepreneuring, new, on the table of fire. And we got spring, the new solar thing of seasons, also on the table. So we got the new. This is all new right now. So everything's new. Everything's a brand new day, a brand new night. And though, it's behind the scenes because it's still, that void in between the endings and the new beginnings. This is that energy right here of just before things start. So this is still the new beginning, but things are still like right before it emerges, right before it enters the spotlight. This is the shadows. This is behind the scenes. So tonight, Moon Phase 15, 2026, April 17th, we will draw 3 cards and 3 cards and see what we got. Now, let's see what we have for tonight's reading. Alright, 3 of these. I kind of want to flip this over. Let me put that there. This one here. And this one. Right there. Okay, we get our 3 cards right there. Okay. Alright, and then we draw these ones. So how this works is that these cards clarify these cards right there. What do we get? Kinda want... And if it comes out, it comes out. Nope. Okay. Backstage energy of new beginnings. What do we get? This one. And I'm sensing some interference or competition. Uh-oh. Since he's flipped out and there's 2 of them, I'll just show you them. This is kind of like daydreaming when you're supposed to be studying. So maybe question if what you're doing, you really want to do it. Maybe your path is suited somewhere else that's more fun and enjoyable than what you're currently doing. Just gonna put that out there. With these readings, I strictly do only 1 or 3 cards each. So if something more comes out, I'll show you, but I won't pick it. Okay, so The only one that came out is the boat card. How interesting. Okay, so you're comfortable in your boat with that sword right there. There's a string attached to the boat, so it's kind of like you're anchored to a dock or something. This kind of reminds me of Raft. It's a video game. So yeah, the water of unpredictability with the grounded nature of stability, of order amongst the chaos, the earth, floating on the water. So let's clarify this. Oh, interesting. I was just thinking about death too. So the boat ride, the mythological boat ride. I think, what is it called? The river Styx or something. The ferryman. Anyway, when you die, you're supposed to be like in this boat, like this gondola, and the driver of the boat is like sending you or transporting you from life into the spiritual dimension. And so there's this transitional period. And yet, death is in reverse. And so death in the upright would be like a complete transition. Maybe a physical death, because we got this like river Styx kind of situation with this dark sword. We normally don't ever get dark swords in tarot readings. Of course, this is like an oracle card that I'm treating it as, but it's a very dark sword. Usually swords are like shining and stuff, and death was in reverse. But if death was in the upright, this would symbolize a death, like someone has actually died, because we got double confirmation of an ending, and the soul being carried away. This is in reverse. So maybe someone out there is like in some sort of medical situation, like a coma, and they're gonna pull out of it. They're gonna recover. Some sort of medical thing. It seems like they're gonna recover from their death stroke, whatever. Possibly. Okay, possibly not. But it could, someone out there, they could be dealing with a death. And someone out there, someone will survive whatever death-like situation, like a near-death experience. Now, death cards, if you're new to tarot, this represents transformation. This is like a winter, okay, and this is like not going through the transformation. This is like there's more you have to do to complete this full transformation. So yeah, this is not in falling energy, this is in rising energy. So this is good intentions. People are doing their job. Like if you're doing a medical situation, and people are doing their job medically. If this was reversed, they are not doing their job medically. They are hypocritical. And yeah, especially if it's like this, then this is death due to incompetence. However, these cards came out like this. And so this represents life due to care. So there's that. And then the Sword of Darkness here, with the angelic wings, and there's like the silver lining on the horizon. Some situation is currently in a transformative state, and yet you're being cared for in this transformation process, and yet the transformation is not fully here. There's some sort of delay, some sort of... because this is like fully transformed, and you're being protected and guided through this process, and yet the transformation is not completed in this current cycle. So there's still more to the story with this in the reverse, with this dark sword. That you got to focus on the transformative aspects of the situation, of the ending. Maybe you're not cutting ties with someone that should be cut ties with, and that could be why, you know, there's more to the story. You're seeking closure from something, and sometimes closure comes in ways that we don't often want or need. However, it is a form of closure. Like, say you wanted to have a final good memory with the person. It just happens to be an Aries. And they weren't willing to provide that memory. You just wanted to have a conversation. They weren't willing to talk on the phone. Well, you didn't get your closure that way. And so you had to cut your ties with them and move on with your ship here. And so then, because you cut ties in an unfavorable situation, because they did not perform, you couldn't even play a damn song when they're a DJ, but their job is to play music. They don't play their music, they didn't do their job, and so an ending is inevitable. So you cut off your ties anyway, even though you didn't get the closure you wanted. When you cut off that tie, you still get the closure. And so this in reverse means that maybe this is a past state, or your present state, or even your future state, that there's more to the story, and so you're not severing your connection yet because you're trying to get more out of this character that's not playing their part. If it was like this, then the story's over. It's completely done with, and we're in new moon energy, so this is the time of the void, the time of the darkness, right after the ending and right before the new beginning. This is the time in that void. If you think of this hand as the past, the old, and this is the new beginning. Okay, this for the moon phases. You wax on, you wane off. So waxing energy is the new beginning. Waning energy is the ending energy, the time of fall, autumn, and death. And waning energy, that's waning energy, the autumn. Waxing energy, you wax on, you apply something. That's growth, that's spring, that's new beginnings. So if you take the waxing energy of new beginnings combined with the waning energy of endings, you're left with these fingers here, right? And so they overlap. This is the time of new moon energy. This is the time of the void where you have elements of your new beginning and elements of your old life merging, overlapping. And so this old thing is like way in your new beginning. This new beginning is way in your old past. And so it's not like a cut and dry solid, like this is old, this is new. There's always elements that overlap. And so that's what the new moon energy represents. You think your new beginning hasn't started yet, but because elements of your past are in your new beginning, and elements of your new beginning are also in your past. So it might be beneficial to find what elements those are, to realize that this is how things work, like this, instead of like this. It's not like chunks. It's all fluid, all airy, everything merges and everything. And so, in new moon energy, you want the situation to be over, but there's still more to the story. And so, here's that final completion. Now, which one? Maybe this one. Alright, we got Rabbit Man. Okay, this is a cheerful, happy man with his rabbit. He's going places. And this is a cheerful, happy woman on her boat, also going places. They both have swords, which is interesting. So to clarify, Rabbit Man, Knight of Swords. Yeah, this is a transportation card, okay? So unlike some Aries, this guy actually goes places. This guy actually makes a move. So we got 2 transportation cards. 3 transportation cards. Gosh, there's a lot of transport. Someone is making moves, okay? A lot of moves. And maybe that's you. Maybe you had to go to him. And he didn't reciprocate, and so it ends in ashes when it could have reignited from the embers, but no, just fell to ash. But no, that's not your situation. Maybe. Not yet. These are transportation cards. Okay, there's the bunny. This is speed, okay? This is very quick. This is fire. Okay, this is a fire rabbit. This is going very fast. This is a boat with this lady that looks very compatible with this fireman right here. And this is also a wind. So, it's lots of transportation right here. These are all in the upright, which means you're a good driver in your road to your destiny. So, this is truthful, honesty, communication. This is passion. This is willpower. This is there is an emotional element with the water, but you're like being carried on the surface. So maybe you are being serviced. So this is like being able to rely on someone. You know, this guy's like in the driver's seat and this one's being taken along for the ride. So this is a reliable character who knows what they're doing. They're competent in their decision making. They're making moves, they're going places. Unlike my situation. Forget that guy. What else do we got? Oh, we got the pretty pet character. Oh, wonderful. Gosh, this reminds me of Minecraft. Or, oh, what video game was adding pets? Starfield. Yeah, Starfield just did an update, and it added some pets. Wonderful. You can build your sanctuary, and you have your pet. Gosh, this is like a relationship. And this guy's making all the right moves. Yeah, figuratively, literally. And this girl is actually being provided for, cared for, transported, nurtured. She's got this castle, right? So she can spend her time caring for something because she's being cared for by this provider. Now, let's see the energy here. Yep, never mind. Okay. This complicates everything I just said and retouches on this situation over here. Okay. So oh gosh. Alright, so this represents a family card. This represents stability. This represents a foundation, a happy home. This is like the castle I was just talking about of being provided for, and yet it's in reverse, and we got this lovely lady caring for a pet in a castle, being supported, and yet there's this lack of a foundation, this lack of support, this lack of... I'm getting a lot of noises. Do you hear that? Maybe not. There's a helicopter above my head and the garage door below my feet with this card. So, gosh, okay, if this was in reverse, then we'd have a deceitful situation. Okay, but it's in the upright, so this is positive intentions. This is clear-headed decisions. And yet, we got this death in reverse, this transformation not happening. Golly, so maybe you are in a happy home, and yet the house itself needs structural support. Maybe there's something physically wrong. However, this is an energy card, but it's also representing a foundation. However, this is energy. Okay, this is fire, the element of fire. We got new moon fire, we got Aries fire, this is new beginnings, and the earth, which is foundations, also new beginnings. And in tarot, there are like basically only 2 cards that represent houses, and that's the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups. And so the Four of Wands is like a small house, and the Ten of Cups is like the big house, the big dream house. The Four of Wands is like the little house that suits your needs. It's not too fancy, but it's a good home. Maybe a room. This could be a room as well. And so in reverse, it means like there's something wrong with your house, with your room. Maybe you're moving. Okay, this is transportation card. Again, this is stability. This is the only stable element here. And it's in the positive. This is love, this is care. So we got caring, stability. Unlike my situation. Ignore that. And we got the house card in reverse. So there's something wrong with the foundation of the house. There's something wrong with the home itself. Maybe some sort of loving family or loving individual it has to move away from their situation, whatever this is. This could be a toxic household, a toxic family that they're moving away from to live somewhere else. And you got these wonderful positive characters traveling. Okay, they're traveling. They're making good decisions. They're getting out of some sort of situation to have stability, to have protection. This is a suitable match. Okay, here's this girl like looking at the sword. Here's this guy with a sword, and they're both red. She's being carried. He's like in the driver's seat. This is romance. This is adventure. This is companionship. This is a relationship right here. Now, if you're not in a relationship, this is like coming soon. This is these are 2 characters destined to meet, to travel, to meet up, to have this loving, protective house that they can enjoy. And so, interesting though, it's like fire is the willpower, right? And we're in new moon energy, like I was saying. The parts of the new and parts of the old, they mix. So this is behind the scenes. This is before things actually come to light. So it's like there's more you have to do behind the scenes to get out of this situation, so you can finally make your move and have the stability. Gosh, this is so interesting. So perhaps one of you or both of you are living in a toxic situation right now, and yet your room, you're making the most of your situation with a pet, or maybe you're moving away from this to find this. Something's happening where there's misfortune, and yet there's love. There's care, there's affection, and yet there's something not foundationally solid, and yet there's protection. So there's so much movement cards. Okay, this is stability. This is movement, change. And yet change isn't here yet, because you're still behind the scenes. So, you may be alone right now. However, your future, you're going to meet someone in your travels when you move away from this unsafe location. You're level-headed, you're thinking clearly, and the winds of change are coming. It's just, it's not quite transformed yet. This is still behind the scenes. So, like a progress update, you're making good moves. This is a relationship. This is like going on a date. This is the courtship. This is the romance. This is a guy actually providing for the woman. And this is the woman later. You know, feeling secure, feeling able to enjoy life, to have a pet to raise. And she needs that security herself in order to provide security for the little thing. So this is not a secure environment to raise that little thing, be that a pet or a child. And so change is needed to switch up the situation, to bring it into a better state. And this is the winds of change right here. You're on your way. You're making things happen. You're clear-headed, making good decisions. But, yeah. So, just know that this is behind-the-scenes energy in your new beginning. You got the passion, you got the willpower, and the Aries fire, entrepreneur, making your fresh new start. You got the spring energy here. Things are going to grow, are going to, you know, things are inevitable. Change is the only constant. You know, this is the new spring. Things are actually happening. The year 2026, the year of 1. This is just, the seed is currently underground right now. It needs a little more time to grow. And so, with the new moon energy, things are just in the shadows right now. Things are behind the scenes. You're working on things. You're transporting your goods. So, if you felt like things were going a bit slow or not working out, this says otherwise. Okay, you might have came here thinking like your new beginning hasn't happened yet. There is no transformation. Well, here's the winds of change right here. Gonna turn this around in your favor, but realize this is just the darkness. You're in the darkness right now, and so when the dawn comes, then all this energy can be spent on making these moves. Because you know where you're going, you're level-headed, you're clear-headed, there's no more fog. You know, you can see clearly. You got the positive fire right here, with the willpower, with the inspiration, with the creativity. Fantastic. And the emotional water of care, which is really rare for these days. And with the care, you see all these things sprouting. These are little trees in this castle. So things are coming to life because you care for it. And with care, you can turn this situation around as well. You know, a home needs care. It needs attention to be stable. And so, you know, the more you care for something, the more it will prosper. And so, if you are in a situation where you're surrounded by uncaring people, and you don't see any way out of that situation, you're still stuck, the transformation isn't occurring, well, the winds of change is coming soon to turn the situation around, where you have the ending to the situation, you have the stability, and you meet someone very special and important who actually values and respects you because they care. It's very nice for you. Very nice energy for you. Absolutely fantastic. So, this is positive fire energy behind the scenes of your new beginning. There you go. Winds of change coming soon to an environment near you. Okay, happy new beginning to you. That was your reading. This is spring energy. This is new moon darkness energy. Right behind the scenes. Right behind the curtains before the big show. And here you are. Ready. Preparing, rehearsing your lines. You got all the knowledge. You got all the instincts. You have the memory of failure. Of all the setbacks. Of all the obstacles. Nothing's going to stop you now. No. You got this. You got this. So, go do it already.